Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another Minecraft video. I know you were probably expecting survival Minecraft today, but I have been itching to dream up and create another farm. And I think, if I'm being completely honest, this is the farm that nobody asked for. But I thought it was really cool nonetheless because of the applications of what you can do with the product of this farm. So over my shoulder here is the final construct of it, but rather than walk you through the process of how it works, I would rather build it up so you can see step by step how this project works. And it's fairly easygoing in terms of the resources that you need for it, and you can recess everything into the ground within a very, very small area. So let's go ahead and jump into the building process for a glow lichen farm that you can basically AFK harvest. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you'll want to dig down a couple of blocks. 3 blocks should be enough to fully recess everything into the ground. Now, I don't need that sandstone, but I will be outlining every mandatorily placed block with this deep slate. This one, however, you can ignore because it's just a placer block, so I can get the hopper placed down on top of it. Now, let's go ahead and get ourselves a chest out here so we can have a collection zone for our finished product. And just like that, we've got a place for the lichen to actually be collected into. Now, before you continue too much further, you're going to need to place a comparator facing in towards this hopper, because that's what's going to drive the brains of this system in terms of making it renewable. And the redstone on this is actually fairly simple. You don't even really need to know a whole lot about how the components work as long as you set it up the way that I have it laid out here. So we'll then need to dig down a little bit further here. This is the first real mandatory block that you will need to place. And off the back side of that, you will want to place a redstone torch, another block on top of that, followed by another redstone torch here. You'll see that that turns off based off of having the polarity reversed off of the redstone torch. And then you will need to place another block on top of that and place your dispenser on the block adjoining to it. And that's the brains of the entire operation, because anytime you throw something down into this little hopper, you'll hear that click. That means that the comparator has picked it up. It's switched the charges on the redstone torches we've seen, powered this dispenser long enough to give it a pulse, and from there, it just runs the rest of it all by itself. And I don't need that torch back because we're done placing torches. The only other things that you will need in order for this farm to work is you'll need to place a rail on top of your hoppers, you'll need to place a minecart with hopper on top of that rail, and then place a block on top of that minecart with hopper. Now, the reason you need a minecart with hopper is because it does reach a little bit above this block, and that will allow it to pull things down from the block instead of just landing on top of it. If we were to even have a slab on top of this, it would be too far out of range of the hopper in order for it to pick up. Now, the other thing that we will need here is we need to get ourselves a couple of slabs, because we want to have influence and control over where the glow lichen glows, and also to contain the water that we need to place here, which water sounds counterintuitive, but I promise that there's a really good reason for it. So let's go ahead and place a couple of these slabs around these 3 blocks. And the reason you want slabs here is you can't have any full blocks on the edge of this hopper, otherwise the lichen might glow up. The lichen might grow up on the sides of the blocks here instead of the harvest point that you want it to be at. Those are the only places that you need slabs. You can then place full blocks here around the edges of this, and then I would recommend placing an additional slab up top. Actually, no, it's a full block up top here. And you might as well double up all the way around. And just to be safe, since this is the point that you'll be standing on, I do like to place an additional slab on top of that. We can also go ahead and place a block atop of this dispenser. It's not needed, but it does kind of help close everything off. Once you've done that, you'll first want to load up your dispenser with some bone meal. And actually, while I'm thinking about it, we will need a stair right here, or before we cover everything up too far, we'll need a stair right here, because that will give us access. We can actually place that stair this way so you can easily access the inside of that dispenser so you can refill the bone meal and other items that way. And then why don't we just stick a stair here and here, because that's going to give us easy access to the top standing platform area where we'll need to be. That's all the stairs that we'll need, so we'll go ahead and cover that area back up. You'll then, actually no, you don't want to cover this one up because that's your access to the dispenser. We just went over that. But from here, you'll want to take some bone meal. Come on. And go ahead and grab a stack of that. I don't think we need any slabs anymore. And then we will go ahead and place this bone meal into the dispenser. And you don't have to completely fill it up. Of course, that's going to be best if you can. And then we will take our glow lichen, the star of today's show. We'll place that right here on top of the dispenser. We will then waterlog that glow lichen, and we will need to do the exact same thing to the harvester block, because glow lichen can only spread if it's under a water source block. If it has running water, it will not be able to spread over that way. But from here, that's it. That is the entirety of how this farm functions and behaves. So let's go ahead and throw this glow lichen in there. You'll see the hopper picks it up, and that whole comparator brain system that we installed picks up the fact that something has passed through it, and it will dispense the bone meal, giving you a fresh set of glow lichen to harvest up here. So from this point, if we take our shears, switch over into survival mode, and then if we just stand here and just kind of swing away, we'll be able to harvest up that lichen. And that should not have jutted out that way, because that's not what the intent of this design is to do here. So I do find that this farm tends to work best if you kind of stare at or towards the back corner here of where the glow lichen grows up. Otherwise, you can have some of the lichen growing or shooting off outside of the collection area. The minecart with hopper does a fairly good job at picking these things up, but you don't want to encourage it shooting off in the wrong direction by harvesting up from over here or in a different pattern, because that can indeed happen. If it does, for whatever reason, it's not the end of the world. You can always throw something down into the bottom of this collection area to reset the system and to get that glow lichen ready to harvest yet again. But that is it. That is the entirety of what this build looks like. It's very cheap. I mean, all you need is one piece of nether quartz, really. You can really build the entirety of the rest of this with any other block that you want, as long as it's not a transparent block. But that is as simple as a glow lichen farm needs to be. Did you enjoy this tutorial? I really hope you did. I know it's kind of silly and funny, but the reason that I would like to have, or would consider having, a lot of glow lichen on standby is it makes for a decent decorative block for giving some additional texture to some of the walls or surfaces, whether that's in your base or out in a cave system, something else. Unfortunately, in 1.17, it does not keep mobs from spawning, but if things stay the same as they have been in the experimental snapshots up to this point, then this very much will be a decent option for warding off spawns later on down the road. So I want to thank you for checking out today's glow lichen farm tutorial. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe for daily variety content. It's not all Minecraft, but you're bound to find something else out here that I'm doing that you will enjoy as well. Thanks again for your time, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Bye-bye, everyone.